Good morning, everyone. It's getting a new roof. Hooray for no video is gonna sound a lot like we filmed it in a bowling alley. Anyway, we're gonna get started with the service in just a few minutes, but before we do that, we want to let you know about what's happening around DCC. First up, Group Link is next Sunday, and it's a great way to get connected at DCC.
If you want to get connected in community at DCC, then Group Link is the event for you. Group Link is a relaxed, open house style environment full of friendly people who would love to help you find the right group for you. You'll have the opportunity to check out all the different groups available at DCC. If you see a group that interests you, then get to know the leaders. They would love to talk to you. Plus, it's a good chance for you to figure out if they're a weirdo. If you find any groups that you think are a good fit for you, all you have to do is get signed up. We hope that you will join us for Group Link. Because life happens in circles, not rows.
It would help us out a lot to know that you're coming, so please get registered for Group Link at me2place.com/events, and we'll see you at Group Link. Next up, since we're starting 2 services on Saturday, we need a ton of help everywhere, but especially in Discovery Kids. Here's a little look at what it's like to be a part of the team that works with our kids every week.
My name's Kurt Sparling. This is my wife, Donna.
Kids are my people. We get along. I fit right in. We joke around. I get their sense of humor. They get me. And that's really hard. Most people don't get me.
Donna was interested in serving in the Discovery Kids here, and so I'm like, oh, I'll try it. Even though I didn't know anything coming in, it was baby steps. They explained everything, going through the process until I was comfortable with it. The first time I had one of the kids say, yeah, bye mom, and run into the room and give me a hug, or the kids crying, walking up to the door, and then they see that I'm serving that day, and they run in and give me a hug, and then they're happy the whole time. After that, we decided, that I was going to do it full time.
We do everything in Discovery Kids. We comfort people who are sad. We sing, we dance, we play.
Definitely well worth it. They moved on to
Hug and an update, and it's really neat. The kids are definitely ripped off. Every single week I walk away knowing I helped somebody. And in a world that's a mess the way it is, it's cool to walk away knowing I did something positive for somebody.
If you want to serve in Discovery Kids, or just find out more information, go talk to one of the lovely people at the New Kids Desk, and they'll be glad to help you out. Or you can go see all of our needs at me2place.com/kidsministryjobs. We post all sorts of stuff on our social media to keep you in the know about what's going on at DCC. So join us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And share our posts too. It's one of the easiest ways to invite our community to DCC. That's it for this week, so please stand up and join us for worship.
Stop us. We'll be running through the night with a fire that burns inside, a fire that burns inside. We are the freedom generation, singing the mercy. You are the one who set us all in motion. Yours is the glory. passion will not die. We are the free, the freedom generation, singing the mercy. You are the one who set us all in motion.
all welcome at the table. Take one of each of those. Take a time. We're not going to come back for you to see. Here at DCC, we do this thing where we like to crash the cups in our hands. And this is our way of saying, it is finished. He knew what we were going to do before we did it. He knew the sins that we were going to commit before we did them. And he still hung on that cross. And he still took our place and felt our pain. And crashing these cups are our way of saying that it is finished. The old way of life is past. And if what I'm saying doesn't make any sense to you, if you just aren't familiar with this, then that's okay. It's okay to just pass that tray on. There's no shame in that. Would you guys pray with me? Jesus, thank you. Thank you for being our breath in our lungs. Remember this victory. Jesus.
Go to Trek just to like hang out and do nines. The one night went some type of like heart attack or something, and he just laid on the floor and he was pretty much dead for like 10 minutes. And as we were like praying and singing for him, he like got his like heart was pumping again, and it was really cool. And I really saw God. I never used to love going to church, never did. And then when I saw God, like how it actually works and stuff, then I wanted to come back. I started enjoying doing this more than 9 Square. I met Braden up at camp, which is my best friend. We talked, and he told me how he got baptized when he was younger. I never got baptized. And so I kept watching all the videos, and I really enjoyed them. And I said, that's how I want to get baptized. Yeah, I want to thank Braden, because if he didn't go to that camp, we never met, I probably wouldn't be doing this baptism video. And I want to thank Dan for talking like every Wednesday. And even when I don't want to do it, he keeps pushing me to do it. And it's actually helped me with my story. And I want to thank my dad, because it's just a big part of my life. Baptism means to me is the next step into knowing who God is, and I love him that he loves me.
Group talks. I've known Quinn a good couple of years now, ever since he started showing up to the high school group at DCC on Wednesday nights. And Quinn would come and he would just go to the back room, hang out, play some games like 9 Square. and just hang out with friends, and that's fine. There's a lot of students that come and do that. That's no problem. When it came time for worship or it came time to listen to the message, Quinn would usually be sitting in the back row, probably had his head down, playing on his phone. But luckily for him, something clicked, and he put his head up, he put the phone down, and he started listening, and he started understanding who God is and how important he is to all of us in our lives. With baptism, we lose our old self, and we're made new. Quinn has proclaimed his faith in Jesus Christ, and so with that in mind, it's time to say goodbye to the old Quinn and hello to the new. So Quinn, are you ready? Quinn, I baptize you in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Bye, Quinn.
Why don't you go ahead and stand up as we celebrate that? Mighty breath of God, move upon this place. Blow, mighty breath of God, won't you move in power and grace? Streams of mercy flowing down, light of heaven all around, and it's falling to the ground. this place. Let your wind blow. Let your fire fall. Let your wind blow. The wind blow. Let your fire fall. Your fire wind blow. Let your wind blow. Let your fire fall. Let your wind blow. Let your fire fall. Let your fire fall. Let your wind blow. Wind blow. Let your fire fall. Sing it out. Let your wind blow. Fire fall. Let your wind blow. God, we just thank you that you're in this place. There is no denying you're here. There is no denying you're here, God. But so often we just observe that you're here. God, we pray that today we would engage. We would engage the living God that is here to move within us, to change our hearts. Thank you. In your name we pray. Amen.
It's about 6 o'clock last Sunday night. I got a text from Mary, who's my best buddy Dave's wife. Dave's the guy I talked about in the first week of the series, my friend who is battling cancer. And the text simply said, "Please pray for peaceful passage for Dave." The boys are here. And the boys she's referring to are his 3 adult sons. And so I was a little bit startled by that, and I picked up my phone and I said, "Oh my gosh, is it time?" And she said, "It's very, very near." So I went and I told Stace, and we prayed, and I prayed. About 3 hours later, I received a text saying Dave's gone to be with Jesus. And he passed away at the young age of 58 years old. And so I didn't sleep very well on Sunday night, and so Monday morning I wake up and I talked to Mary on the phone, and I talked about the arrangements and all of that stuff, and then I made travel arrangements, and I had to cancel and reschedule some appointments that I had on my calendar, and then I had to sit down with Stella, my youngest, and talk to her about the fact that Dave's now with Jesus, and Stella had a real special relationship with Dave, and then Tuesday morning was full of meetings, as it usually is, but Tuesday afternoon, I blocked the whole afternoon just to start to think about what can I possibly say at the funeral of this guy that was one of my best friends in life. And then Wednesday morning, I jumped on a plane. I flew back to Louisville, and they picked me up and took me to the funeral home. And so 4 hours of visitation on Wednesday night. And then Thursday was the funeral, and then I jetted back Friday night, walked in the house a little bit after. It's been a crazy week for me, and I'm kind of a mess. As I was walking this week, I couldn't but think about how precious and how short life really is. You know, God tells us it's like a mist. It's here for a little bit, and then it's gone away. And so we don't get to decide when it starts. We don't get to decide when it ends. All we can decide is how we're going to live it. And so as I was thinking through things this week, I was like, yeah, but I was so frustrated as I was trying to work through this message this week. I was so distracted. And I was thinking, you know, here we are. We're in this series on community. We're in this series on Lean On Me. We're in this series, you know, and it's true. We all need to connect in relationship and do life closely together. And that's great and that's good. But it was just it was distracting to me because I'm like, but what am I supposed to do in this violent storm that has hit my life? And it was hard for me to even think about this. And so I thought, you know what? Maybe I'm just going to pause the series. I'm just going to pause this series. And I'm going to get up to date. I'm just going to talk about grief and pain and loss and things that cause. Just as I was about to make that decision and wrestling through this, I thought about this. I thought, you know what? No, I can't go there. Because the more I thought about it, the more I realized just how important this series is. Because this question immediately came to me, and the question was this: where would my life be today without David Blackerby and the influence that he had on my life? And the honest answer to that question is a frightening one for me. I believe is true. If this stuff that we believe in this place is true, okay? If it's true, then there's some challenges here, right? Because everything that we're talking more into this, and I think the answer is pretty simple. We're scared. It's a scary thing. We've tried it before in the past, and we've been hurt or we've been burned. We've tried to move towards it, and it hasn't gone so well for us. Relationships are the only thing that we can take with us. That is true, but so is like relational pain. There's no pain in life like relational pain. There's no pain in life like church relational pain. See, that's what we're up against. This is our dilemma as we sit here today, as we try to venture into this space. This is what we're up against. Hurt us in the past, or that we believe is likely to hurt us again in the future. And so that's why we're doing this series. You understand? That's why we're talking about this stuff in this series, because we're doing it for this reason. Because this thing that we are so hesitant to do, this thing that we are so hesitant to move towards or to step into in our lives, happens to be the path to the life that every single one of us is looking forward to. And that's a real challenge for us, and we got to continue to navigate and work through that and talk through that. So we've talked about all the benefits in being in a small circle, in doing life together with a few other people. We've talked about all the obstacles and challenges that stand in the way, that keep us from wanting to venture into that circle. And today, I want to shift gears, and today I want us to talk about the difficulties and challenges that we face once we are inside the circle. But before we do that, I want to say good morning to you. Hey, good to have you here. Welcome to DCC. Always good, but especially it's good to have you here if you're brand new. And if that's you, we want you to know, we want to say special shout out and welcome to you. And thanks for taking a chance on us. But we want you to know that all of your stories safe and welcome in this place every single week. And you're in a room today full of people who are exactly like you. We're just a bunch of people who get together. We're chasing after a better way to live, looking for a better way to live just like you. We happen to believe that Jesus offers that better way to live. But the best news for you in that is this: you don't even have to believe that to belong here with us every single week. So, hey, thanks for taking a chance on us. Special welcome and shout out to you if you're new, and of course to all of our online friends who are checking us out right now too. Good to have you with us. We're going to be in Matthew chapter 20 today. So if you brought a Bible, go ahead and open it up. Matthew chapter 20. If you don't have a Bible and you want one, we have them on the back tables around the wall there. If you want to go now, if that's not weird or awkward, but if it is, just grab one, take it home with you today. Love to give it to you as a gift. You can hit our app on your phone. You can hit YouVersion. You can read off that piece of paper we handed you when you walked in here, or you can just read with me on the screens. Everything I read is going to be on the screen. So here we go. Matthew chapter 20, beginning with verse 20. 20. Here we go. Then the mother of Zebedee's sons came to Jesus with her sons. This is James and John. And kneeling down, asked a favor of him. Him is Jesus here. What is it you want? Jesus asked. She said, grant that one of these two sons of mine may sit at your right and the other one sit at your left in your kingdom. All right. Let's stop right there. Now, we talk all the time in this place. In fact, it's the whole premise of this series that the life that all of us in this place is going to be problem-free. It's going to be pretty. The answer is pretty simple because it involves people. All right? So, small circle, that's what Jesus has a group of 12 guys that are doing life closely with him. So there's your small circle, your small group, you know? So it can be 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, whatever. He's got 12. These two guys, James and John, happen to be in that circle. But not only that, when we read the biographies of Jesus, Matthew, Mark, Luke, read that, we understand these two guys are not only part of the inner circle, but it doesn't appear to be enough to them. What are they asking for? They're asking to be his right hand and his left hand guys. We want to be the two guys that are closest to Jesus. Now, I think it's so important that we pause here and that we talk about that. We got to pause the story right here, and we need to talk about that. Why? Why do we need to talk about that? And here it is, okay? Because this moment inside of this circle, the story that we're reading today, right, is a common thing that is going on in most of the small circles that most of us are doing life in today. The same thing that's happening in this small circle in this moment is happening in the small circles that we are living in too. And so we need to talk about that. So 3 questions for us today that I want us to experiences, and as we contemplate future possible experiences in small relationships. You ready? Is known for more important than known by? Now that I worded that a little weird, and that's a little confusing, so let me flesh it out a little bit. Is being known for something more important to me than being known by someone? Just think about that. And just chew on that for just a minute. Think about your own life and your own story. There's a reason I can't be too hard on. This was me. This is a Me Too moment for me. I'll be honest with you. For years of my life, growing up in the church, I didn't recognize. I think this is an uncommon times, but knows what I just did, and never had an off night. They never had an off night as a group. See, think out with your buddies. Not so much. Even in the church, move towards these circles, and we get inside of these circles, and you're kidding yourself if you're thinking every night is going to be like angels singing and and it's amazing and all this. You're going to have some off nights. It's just the way that stuff rolls, and it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with the leader. It has nothing to do with the people in the group, and it has nothing to do with the curriculum or whatever you're studying. It is just the way life feels for you in the moment. Stacy and I are in a small group with 5 other couples. We love them. I mean, they're like family to us. I mean, deep relationship with these people, but we have off nights. I mean, there's nights when you're driving home, it's like, wish I'd called in sick, right? I mean, we all have this stuff, right? And with all due respect, you're sitting, you come into the group that night, and life is hard, and it's heavy on you for whatever reason. And with all due respect to Andy Stanley and his video, and pouring pink and blue sand in and saying this is marriage and it's all great, and I love Andy. I'm the biggest Andy fan ever. But some nights it just doesn't do it for you. This is reality. This is real life, okay? Now, here's what you need to understand. Jesus never had an off night. Small group experience with Jesus never was an off night. It's like, what are we going to do tonight, Jesus? I don't know. You want to go raise some dead people? I'm in. It was the most amazing group experience ever. Everybody would want Jesus to lead their small group. Now, hold that. And here's the point. I do have a point, okay? Here's the point. Can you imagine the depth of relationship that was available in this circle? Can you imagine the depth of relationship that was available to each of these men in this circle? Unbelievable. Off the chain, off the hook, blow your mind kind of relationship right there in front of you, and yet it's not enough for James and John. It's not enough for James and John. They are not content with being deeply known by these other guys in the circle. They want to be known to be the 2 guys that are closest to Jesus. Their desire to be known for is getting in the way, causing them to miss this huge opportunity that's right in front of them to be known by. I'm telling you, this is the same thing is happening in our lives and stories too. I was thinking this past week about my life, a lot about my life, because I was thinking about my buddy Dave's life, and caused me to reflect on mine. And I have a lot of regrets in my life. I have a lot of regrets in my life. Regrets about mistakes I've made, the sin in my past, the way I've hurt people, the way I hurt Stacy and my girls and my friends and people that love me the most. And I was thinking through it this week. You know what I came to? I came to this realization. You know what? If I had been more intentional about being known by a few of the right people, then I probably could have prevented being known for things in my life today that I never, ever, ever wanted to be known for. Things to my wife. If only I had done that. And so, but it pointed me to something. It pointed me to how strong this known for thing is working in all of our lives and stories. When I was a pastor, I remember thinking that I have what I need to understand this. I wasn't trying to prove, rather than leaning this from that. And so I just want to ask you the question before we leave this. We're going to move on, but here's the question. What do you most want to be known for as you sit here today? What do you want to be known for? I mean, it's okay, whatever it is. I mean, you want to know to be good looking? Washboard abs, big biceps like me? What is it? Wealthy, intellectual, educated, fit, disciplined, a good friend, a good listener, a good mom, a good dad, a good husband, a good wife, a great investor, very wise person, a good Christian. What is it? What do you most want to be known for? See, because here's what I know about all of us. Every one of us wants to be known for something. And what I want to ask you is what's the balance of known for and known by? What's that look like in your life? It's not just about getting ourselves in a circle. And it's not just about what we receive once we're in the circle. Here's a new question that I really want us to press into together today. What am I bringing into the circle? What am I carrying into this circle? When I take a hard and honest look at my life, is known by getting lost in my quest to be known for something, just like it appears to be doing with James and John here. That's it's an important analysis for us to run as we think about our lives. Well, let's keep going in the story. There's more. It gets better. Verse 22. So Jesus' response is this. Okay, so can he sit to your right and left? You don't know what you're asking for, Jesus said to them. Can you drink the cup I'm going to drink? We can, they answer, which I think is stupid. But anyway, so there you have it. You can't. But okay, so Jesus said to them, you will indeed drink from my cup, but to sit at my right or left is not for me to grant. These places belong to those for whom they have been prepared for my Father. Now, Jesus guys, I don't really understand what you're asking for here. But before we get to that, before we get to what Jesus, and it's worship with them, circles, and these, I think that's a real important question. There's self-protection, thinking about this past week. And first, inside, nice balance between the two. And as I was circle, I do experience that. I gotta pay attention to that. See, I can't say them tends to illuminate or spotlight or point to my failures. They bring attention to my failures. Maybe not for the whole group, but for me. And my successes illuminate or point to or shed light on of our church. And I learned so much from him. He's probably he is the main mentor in my life. And Stacy would tell you, my wife would tell you, I'm more like him than any other pastor I've ever been around. And that's a huge compliment. But anyway, we're having breakfast and we're just chatting about things. And he was telling me, and Bob's a pretty competitive guy. And he was telling me, he said, years ago, Greg, like 30 years ago, this magazine, I don't remember what it was, did an article on churches, and we were listed, Southeast Christian Church was listed as the 6th fastest growing church in the country. And he said, that was just awesome for about 10 minutes. And he said, then you know what I started thinking about? I said, yep, the 5 other churches. He's like, yep, who are they and how can we catch them? Now, here's the thing. Bob Russell is one of the most godly men I've ever met. One of the most godly men you will ever meet, but he's competitive. Spirit into the circles that he does life with. Guys, they always had to bat every time. So if you had less players show up, if it was 3 less than the others, like, of parents, if you do that, right? So I'm like, whatever you want to do. So he goes, time out. He goes out. His son's pitching Brandon. He tells Brandon, hey, Brandon, here's what we're going to do. We're going to Dad, what are you talking about? Why would we load the bases? They could score and beat us, and a hit beats us. And he's like, Brandon, then it gets to the automatic out, and the game's over. Huh? Brandon was more competitive than his dad, right? So he walks in next to the umpire, and he gets loaded, 1 hit, we win, it's going to be awesome. And then the umpire said, batter's out, game over. And the whole place just went deathly silent. The field real fast. And I look over at the other section of stands of parents, and you should have seen the rage. It wasn't the love of Jesus in their eyes. I'm just saying that. I'm surprised that we got out of there alive that night. I really am. It was ugly. But what is that? He was so stinking competitive. He was in it to win it, right? It's an 11-year-old Little League game, and I got to win. At all costs, I'm going to win at all costs, okay? Here's the thing. You think that my friend Dave doesn't carry that into small circles relationally. You're crazy, right? Listen, these feelings we have of competition and comparison and your successes somehow minimize mine, and your glory, the glory that is your life, it really pinches my story because I've been swirling around. As we walk into these that I established between me and you to keep myself from being hurt by you is the exact same distance that keeps me from being helped by you. The distance between myself and you to keep me from being hurt by you is the same distance. When the 10 heard this, so this is the 10 other indignant. Now, I know God's telling these guys what to write. I'd used a different word, but there you have it. All right, they were indignant with the 2 brothers. Jesus called them together and said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever a man, he's talking about, well, start to argue, which makes sense. Who do you think you are sitting to the right and left? It should be me. No, it should be me. And Jesus is like, time out, guys. Come here. I got to talk to you. You're missing this. You're missing this. Your focus is on what is in this for you. That's the wrong focus. Here's the posture I need you to get on your knees and serve the rest of these guys in this circle. And I want you to happen in life. So based on what Jesus has just said here, last question for you and me today. As we think about how this stuff really plays out in these small relational circles in our life. Are you ready? I just want to ask you the question. Am I thinking give and take? As I think about that, am I really thinking give and take? Am I more focused on give? In other words, what I have to offer to the people in the circle and to the experience. Or is my focus more on from the people in the circle and from my experience? What's human nature here? It's pretty simple. The common question and criteria that we use to determine what we will and will not do in life is what James and John are wrestling with here. It's this question: what's in this for me? That's the question that drives the vast majority of things that we decide we're going to do or not do. What's in this for me? I'm not judging you or being critical of you, because me too. This is a question that still, to this day, drives so many decisions that I make in my life. But I am saying this. Let's be honest. This is what makes us reluctant to step beyond anything in the rows on Sunday morning. You know, I was thinking about last week, and I recognized that dude has been there for me. He is, and I recognize the role that he played in saving my life, and that's true. In saving my marriage, in saving my relationship with my 4 daughters, in saving my family, in saving my ministry. He was there. In a time when I blew up my life and really nobody else was there, he was right there beside me, somebody for me to lean on. He never gave up on me, and he never let go of me. And I was thinking about it this past week as I was preparing for his funeral. I was thinking, you know what, though? As great as that wasn't the most fulfilling part of our relationship for me. That wasn't the most fulfilling moment in the relationship for me. You want to know when it was? It was about 3 or 4 years later when Dave was going through a really hard divorce after being married for over 20 years. And now it was time for me to be there for him and for him to lean on me. It was 2.5 years ago when he got diagnosed with cancer, and they said, you got a year to live. He beat it. He lived 2.5, but they said, you got a year to live. And now all of a sudden, it was an opportunity for me. He needed me. And I got to be there for him. See, it wasn't just about what I was taking from Dave. It was what I was able to give. I encouraged him every those relationships that I have with these men, as a result of that. Listen, I know how this stuff works. In fact, God has unique. I've got something to offer. I've got something. That is the heart that Jesus is pointing us to. And what would it look like? Just to allow you to. It's in a church that gets weird. I can tell you story after story after story of people who've shown up at our Group Link experience. And they were scared to get. They had told themselves, I'm not going to go, I'm not going to go, I'm not going to go, I'm not going to go. But then they showed up. The night comes, and they show up. And they come in, they sit in the parking lot. And then they stay in their car. It's like, I'm not going in, I'm not going in, I'm not going in. Right? And it's just like, because Christians are weird, and I'm scared, and they're going to hurt me and judge me and all that, and all that. And I get that, right? So some of that's true. But they sit in their car. Then they start the car back. And now I'm going. And they start to pull away, and they turn around. They come back. Then they get out of the car. They take a step. They throw up. Not really. I made that up just for effect. So, but they're scared, but somehow they eventually cross that threshold. And then they say a year later, my life's just different. And their life continues to get better and better and better. And my question for you is, don't you want that in your life? Of course you do. You want that. Why? Please, whatever you do, listen. Please don't spend another year of your life continuing to go it alone. It just takes one step. We all need to be needed and known, and it's amazing to me what God does with just a little bit of effort on our part. So, maybe you're still unconvinced. Here's all I'm asking for today. Give me one more shot. Just give me one more shot. Come back and hear me out as we wrap up this series next week. Thanks for being here today. Let me pray for us. Jesus. Stuff would probably be a lot easier for all of us, for every heart in this room, if we didn't have past experiences. And it is so much easier for us to gravitate towards just being known for something and to avoid and just navigate our way through life the best that we can than it is to walk into truly being known by someone. We need your help. And Jesus, I guess I'm asking for courage more than anything. Our next Sunday night, maybe it's not that. Maybe it's serving. Maybe it's not even here, but would you give us the courage to move towards so that we can sit in a circle with a few other people, a few necessary people in our lives to help us become all that you created us to be. Well, Jesus, we can't do this without you. And so we just ask you, promise life to the fullest. And when we're honest, most of us will say, my life feels a little short of that. And so, Jesus, what if this is it? To Group Link next, even what God's doing in this place. You want to get on mission with us financially. We'd love that, but we don't pressure you. We hang boxes on the wall by the doors on the way out, or you can hit our app or our website if you choose to do it electronically. Hey, thanks for being here today. I'll be out by the fireplace if you want to talk to me. Hope you come back as I wrap up this series next week. Have a great week.
Who breaks the power of sin?